welcome back to my weekly yarns. This week been a corker, hasn't it? Monday and Tuesday, 38 degrees plus in the northeast. Unheard of that. I think it's unheard of anywhere in the country, to be honest with you. Broke the records for the hottest day of the year so far in UK history. It was 38.5 up here. There was one point where I was coming home on Tuesday, travelling home on Tuesday. It was 39.5. As you drop down off the A690 onto the River Wear to come back up towards Newcastle, coming down that hill onto the river, it was 39.5 degrees for a short period of time. So Monday, Tuesday was just horrendous. Trust me, to get work Monday and Tuesday. That's probably why everybody else wanted to stop at home. Don't be a silly bugger like me. But I gets down to Wakefield, and the lads in the Wakefield depot says to us, "You got the aircon on in that engine?" He says, "Be all right in there then, wouldn't you, with the aircon on in the wagon?" And I went, "Aircon?" I says, "We've got two aircon systems in there. One's called the passenger side window, one's called the driver side window." I says, "That's it." I says, "I've never had a wagon in my life with aircon in it. One that works. I've had them with aircon in, but they've been disabled because the owners don't want to pay the running costs." David Monkhouse left with a message again. "Nice to hear from you again, David. It's been a while. Radiator hoses. He had getting some new radiator hoses and he had to trim his down a little bit to fit, and I've just had to do the same today. I've fitted the new radiator hoses to the radiator after fitting the fan cowl, and I've had to trim about 40mm off the end of the top hose. It was just a little bit too long. It went down too far over the thermostat housing, so I've just trimmed a bit off the end. I've got some pictures and that showing you, because what we're doing, we've decided to go and get the fan cowl and fit the fan cowl this morning, and then realised that when I hadn't considered this earlier, because when the tractor came it didn't have a cowl on, so I never even looked for any mounting holes. So cleaned the radiator, painted it, and today when I was putting the fan cowl in position, I'm thinking, well, there's no mounting holes there. But then if you looked carefully on the frame, on the steel support frame, at what looks like 3 holes, top, bottom, centre, looks like 3 holes that's either been filled with something, or the screws have sheared off or been cut off in the holes. But luckily, I'm getting a replacement cowl from Colin Stewart up in Aberdeenshire, who I get all my parts off. Great bloke, Colin. I'll put his up here. There's more space up here. I'll put his Facebook connection up here for you. Anyone who needs or wants parts. He's got Fords, Massey Fergusons, Davy Browns, Leylands. So you know, if you've got if you're in need of parts for tractors, drop me a line. I'm sure he'll be pleased to help you if he can. So I got a cowl off Colin, stripped it down to the bare metal again, give it all a clean up. It had one little stress fracture in the bottom left hand corner where the flange wraps around the radiator, because you've got like a radiator there, and the flange comes and wraps around the side that you put your screws in. And I don't know if you just know this about stress fractures. To stop them running, because if you don't do something to stop them running, they will just run and run and run till they find an outlet, and it's normally an edge somewhere they'll go to. But what you do, go to the inside end of the crack where it is starting to rip the metal apart, and you go to the very end of it. If you drill a small hole on the end of the crack, it cannot go any further. The energy that's causing the stress fracture gets into the hole and cannot get back out. right? So that's a way of stopping your stress fractures from running, and it works in everything. You know, whatever bit of metal that you've got or whatever, drill a little hole. It doesn't need to be a massive hole. Just drill a hole there, right on the very end of your fracture, and it'll get rid of your stresses for you. So, yeah, we got it down. I got it cleaned, primed, painted. This is ages ago. It's been sitting up at the farm for ages. Got it sorted out. As I say, today we decided to fit it. Never thought, I thought, stupidly, the blonde moment again, that I could have slid the cowl down over the fan with the radiator and that in place. And then we could have married the two up for height and everything else. So what we had to do in the end was we had to take the air filter frame off, loosen the radiator, put the cowl in roughly where we thought it was going to sit, put it back into the tractor to check that if we put it where we were going to put it, it would have clearance around the fan. So we did that, popped it off, marked all the 8 holes up. And then, as I say, you'll see in the video, you have to be very careful when you're putting the drill through the framework, because the veins are right behind it, and you cannot afford to have your drill whipping through your veins. It's not good for you. And I used a small socket, put the drill into the chuck with I think it was something like a 16th or 3/32 of an inch sticking out, which was just enough to pierce the metalwork, to give it a little bit of a hole so we can get 2.5 millimeter, so we can get the self-tapping screws in that was going to hold everything in place. As I say, I was going to make a short video of just fitting that and putting the radiator back in, but then it started to rain. I thought, you know what, let's just bash on, get this done. And it's only 8 holes, and you know, I think the only unique thing was the little socket that I used to limit the depth. I was looking for one of them collars with the screws in. I've got some of them that you put on your drill and you tighten the little grub screw, but I didn't ever need that little. I think all mine started at about 5 mil. So I had a fairly easy day Wednesday. Messing about, doing bits and pieces, got them legs done. Again, we'll give you a quick look at them. We've got the legs that are it's a derivative of the legs on Lance McGaskill's channel. He's Kangaroo Stews 197 Part 2, if you want to see where I got the idea from. Have a look in there. Lance will show you ones he made. I changed the design of these ones slightly, but I cannot see it compromising the strength, because if you look at how the forces act anyway, the forces coming from the feet will transmit diagonally back to the upright. So having the fact that the box section isn't there, and these ones are not adjustable. These would simply get bolted on, and you'd compensate with the first set of legs that I made, which were a direct copy of Lance's legs. So this morning, I painted them legs, didn't I? Painted them red, like my other ones. The only thing was, I hand painted them. And hand painted them with a cheap and nasty brush. And they were alright in a way. They weren't that bad. And I waited 4 hours. And in the meantime, I fitted the fan shroud. And I waited 4 hours. Like it says on the tin, for to recoat. And then I recoated them to make a better job of it. And made an absolute balls of it. Honest to God. I've never ever been able to second coat hammer right paint with a brush. I can spray it on, but I haven't got my little spray booth, have I? Because my engine's sitting in the middle of my spray booth now. And I thought, I'll just lash a bit of paint on there with a brush, it'll be fine. No, it wasn't like. But they're only legs, aren't they? They're only there to keep the tractor up. So I don't think anybody's going to mind that they've got a pretty bad state of affairs for paint job. But when they make such a good job of the tractor, you think, why can he not make such a good job of the legs? And it's not hot today. It's not. I think it's about 18 degrees. And the paint had a bit of thinners in it so that it would go. You know, it wasn't straight out the tin. It wasn't thick. But it went on like soft toffee. It was horrible. Absolutely horrible. Never. Right. Thursday, what did we do? We shifted bales. Gemma's got hay on the floor in a couple of fields up north of here. Not that far north. The big Bailey trailer with the drop sides that we had the last time, Alan was using that one this week, so we couldn't get a end of that. So we had Gemma's little blue trailer, which she towed up there with the JCB. You see her in the video. She's in the JCB loading. So Alan lent us his truck, which is the one you see in the video. He lent us his truck for a couple of days to get the bales off. And I think in one trip, so like one load on Gemma's trailer, one load on the truck, we were getting 56 bales off the field. No, 58 bales off the field at any one trip. There's still some to come off, but it was raining this morning. We were going to do it this morning, but it's raining this morning. So they're damp. So we're going to leave them out in the field until they dry off, and then we'll get them into the shed. They're lying on the diameters in the field, and the water it'll run off them unless they get an absolute drenching for weeks and weeks. But they'll be fine sitting out there for a couple of days, couple of weeks. And we'll get them in. Remember, we ordered some clutch friction discs, didn't we? Haven't turned up yet. That's 8 days now. 8 days. And it might not be an awful long time in the scheme of things, but you know, when you're used to getting things like 24, 48 hours delivery normal times, you begin to expect that from everybody, don't you? But we'll say we're going to give them till Wednesday, and then we'll talk to the company and find out what's going on, where they are. Everything else, all my bits and pieces turned up that we're looking for. Steelwork turned up, nuts turned up for the casters, the lights turned up, the rubber turned up, everything came. We're just waiting for the clutch, the two clutch friction plates to turn up. Once they turn up, they'll be fine. I was having a look at the gearbox, and I'm really in two minds as to whether to get 2 steel plates so it can spread the load right along where the foot plates would bolt on, to utilise all of those bolts and then weld this set of legs into the centre of those plates to spread the load on as big as area as we possibly can, because those bolts were never ever designed to carry the weight of the tractor. They were purely and simply to carry the weight of the foot rests, the plates that you stand on. That's all. And I'm concerned that if we start overloading those, the bolts might shear and we'll have a little bit of a disastrous accident. And I'd rather spend 20-30 quid more on steel and spread that load. Hopefully we'll give it a bit more thought, we'll do a bit of measuring, and we'll cost things up, and we'll get back to you. So we'll take you for a bit of a walk around the garage. We'll show you what we've been doing, we'll show you the fan shroud and that, and we will show you a bit of topping up in the field where the girls are. Right, so we're out here. I'm going to fit the shroud to the radiator, the fan shroud. I was just going to do this as part of the blog, as part of my yarn on Sunday morning, but I'll show you a couple issues that I've got. So here's my radiator. This is the original one off the tractor. Down the side here, looks like there's a hole there, and a hole there. But none of them tight. Well, I mean, that's not the original shroud, that's a replacement shroud. So what we're going to do, we're going to drill some 2.5mm holes. We're going to drill some 2.5mm holes in there. What I've got is a old socket. I'm going to put over the top. I'm just going to leave the drill tip. Sticking out there. Just enough, because the first core, the first vein of the core is right there. So you really can't afford to go through, because if you hit one of the veins in there, that's your radiator gone. Right, let's have a look and see what we've got here. So we've got our top and bottom hose on, got the shroud on. We drilled 8 holes through the shroud, 2.5mm, put the self tappers in, and that little socket stopped the drill penetrating any further than was necessary, and it just broke through the surface of the support frame on the radiator. Now get the screws in. The fan moves nice and freely inside, no touching. All we need to do is get a couple of, I think we'll buy the old fashioned Jubilee clips for this, you know, the twin wire ones, that type. I think they just look better, especially on an old engine like this. So, top and bottom hose on. And I think that's going to be it for the day. Jolly good. Well, at this point, I was going to do a separate video putting that fan shroud on. Just as I was about to start setting up, it started to rain. Didn't feel like getting all the camera and my phone wet, all the sound equipment wet. So I just rattled on, knocked the 8 holes out, put the shroud on, put the screws in very carefully. The first couple went in very, very carefully until I was sure they were going to miss them veins in the core. As I say, you don't want to be getting to the stage where you're looking, I think it's 280 quid or something like that for a new radiator in the UK. And probably the best part of 150, 180 to have it repaired if I was to take it to one of the radiator specialists through Newcastle. So yeah, so we got that done. Got the shroud mounted. Put the radiator, because we had to obviously take the radiator back off of the tractor. The airframe had to come off the tractor. So got the radiator back in, got it mounted up, checked all the clearances for the fan and everything, and then we fitted the hoses as well. We're that far into it, might as well fit the hoses, and then but all I need now is a couple of Jubilee clips, isn't it? So that's why there's a piece missing out the middle of that. Good morning. Well, it's a damn sight cooler out here this morning. I don't know what time it is yet. I've not even looked at the clock, but it's a damn sight cooler, so I've come out and do a little bit on this axle. As you can see, I've got the axle on the engine frame, mounted it up, and now we've got, this is the second coat of paint stripper. It will get a third coat, and then it will get back into the trailer, across to the farm, go pressure wash. Most of that paint will come off with the pressure wash. Then hopefully that'll just leave us the little intricate bits to get into with a small wire brush and a drill. But we'll see. So we've got our raw materials. We've got channel bar, we'll get cut in half up here to form the two uprights. This will form the feet and the base, and then we've got our casters going to go on there. Right, so we're going to get this all marked out, get it cut up, we'll see how today goes. We might get some tack welding done today. We'll see. So after the cutting, we end up with this: 4 triangular fillet plates, 2 base plates, and a piece on the end there, a little piece left over for other jobs to do. Right, so I finished the legs. Well, I haven't finished them. There's some holes need putting in here, depending upon how we're going to mount it to the gearbox casing. But there we go. A derivative of Lancer's legs. So today, when I get new work done on the tractor, we've got a load of bales to shift today. Don't think we'll get them all moved today, but we'll get some moved today. We'll see. Mind, this is much nicer weather for working in than it was on Tuesday. Tuesday was horrendous. Absolutely horrible day for working. We'll get some straps on that, we'll get it away. So today, it's about 18 degrees, it's raining, beautiful, and we're out here doing a bit of slashing, well, a bit of topping. We've got a couple of fieldfuls of thistles, and the girls don't like it. So, there's what girls over there. Will it focus? No, wait a minute, we'll get outside and have a look. So as you can see, we've got a few thistles, and the girls don't like it because it's pinching the grass. So we've got to crack on. There's the girls over there. Like the most, that's a cleaner field, or a cleaner piece of the field, and they like it over there. So we'll get this cleaned up for them, and then it will wander back across. I'm surprised they haven't come across when they've seen us cut it actually. But right, let's get on with it. Right, we'll see if we can keep this steady. Hope we can. Just got to get through this bit of the field. You can see the thistles have got a hold, haven't they? I think Gemma sprayed this off last year. This year she didn't because she was grazing it, because she had the lambs on it, and now she's got cattle on it. So, what we're getting there, it's nice and steady. I find this very therapeutic actually, just sitting here, back and forward up the field. You get a chance to think about your other little tractor, haven't you? And what you need to be doing. The jobs that need preparing, you know. The clutches haven't come yet. This is 8 days. 8 days they weren't there this morning. So we'll have a look when we get home. We'll give them till Wednesday, and then we'll have to chase them for the clutches, won't we? Get this bit done. There's not a lot left to do tonight. Get this bit done tonight. We've got a lot to do, possibly over the weekend. Need to try and get on top of this for the cows. We've got some decent grass, because again this will help the new grass come away as well underneath it all. Look at the swallows going daft here. The swallows were absolutely demented because we're disturbing all the flies underneath. Right, well that's it for this week. Thank you very much for visiting. Hope you found it useful. If you like my videos, please like and subscribe so you get notified the next time when we have a video out. You don't have to come looking for them. It helps the channel grow tremendously as well by subscribing. If you've got any suggestions, comments, questions, just leave them below. We'll try and get back here as quick as we possibly can. And if we haven't got the answers, we'll tell you we haven't got them, but I'll try and find them for you. So, thanks for visiting. Now, don't forget, don't overthink it. It's just nuts and bolts. See you next time. Bye now.